Welcome back. Apologies for that. We do not know what happened there, but it seems like we briefly lost connection. We are back here in Monza. We go again as I can't remember who said that before. Someone said it. I can't remember why, but there we are. I think it before it went wrong anyway, whoever said it. As we're underway at Monza anyway, I've stopped rambling a bit. So we've got cars on circuit now. We've got one of the Hasses being the first one out, and it is everyone's favourite Danish TGP driver, Red Bull Kim. Only his fourth race back on the new game, I believe. He has an Alpine behind, which I'm pretty sure will be IRT Kaya, or yep. So two of the drivers more towards the tail end of the field will get us underway here. Let's see how the two go. Kaya has a tank slapper on the exit for Parabolica, as I've mentioned. Red Bull Kim, not the cleanest exit, was a little wide, but he's not invalidated his lap before it's begun, which can happen here as he comes down towards the first chicane. It's very tidy. He's actually not done that too badly. I'll give him a bit of credit there. That was not a bad effort there through the first chicane by Red Bull Kim. As he comes around the curve of Grande, we do have a Ferrari going slowly. I don't believe it to be Dom. I think it's now, it might be Dom, who knows, but we're on board with the Haas then, going through the first chicane as he's the first car on to do a lap. Gives you an idea of the circuit. As tidily going along, Red Bull Kim's not the quickest guy, apart from that one time in Montreal where he managed to get pole in 9 seconds briefly by being on the slick tyres as it tried up while everyone was in the pits on inches.
He's actually got Kaya right behind him here.
Yeah.
I think Kaya might actually get a bit of a tow.
Let's get the lap data up then, so you can kind of see by the times through there as Kaya invalidates his lap. It wasn't the quickest lap so far for Red Bull Kim. He's done a 55.2 for the second sector, where I think the front runner's around 50-51 seconds. Kaya almost going wide off at Parabolica, but we'll come to line with these two. Kim will be the first time on the board. It's a 1:23.5, so it's not awful. It's not the quickest either, that we'll see, but a lot of guys are invalidating. Wet Levens looks like he's going to set a representative time. Jacko, of course, just in front, has gone quick as well, 21.8, a 1:22.0 for Wet Levens, who is in TB2 now, as Cena. Knight doesn't get better, spins out immediately, and Zandvoort spins up at the Parabolica on his first flyer. But let's have a look for some of the quick guys now. We've been focusing a lot on the spat markers, as Dom, who I was trying to get to, takes pole by nearly a second. Mackey's first out. Owen as well, now beginning laps. Let's go on board with someone who will be...
We've got Speed Sully coming towards the end now in 16. Well, he's not 16 now, obviously hasn't set a lap yet, but he's about to set a lap. Just want to say very quickly, I think we disconnected before I gave the championship standings out. So just after that race, it's Dom on 246 points, Owen on 204, and then John Menzies on 184. So John is 62 points back now after that race. So he's going to have to win. He's pretty much going to have to win the next few races, I would say, if he wants to be a part of this championship fight and the final week out of the season. And that'll do nicely for him, going to the top of the time. He's there on a 20.7.
Yeah, he also had Baz over in front of him, just losing it on the exit of Parabolica, hitting the inside wall. So that wouldn't have helped too much for John, but it wouldn't have got on his way either. It would have just caught his eye as he was coming out of the corner. Owen on a lap, he's got a Ferrari behind. Is that Dom? I think that's Dom as well, sitting behind, just like eyeing up his rival to see what he's doing. That's one way to do it. As Owen comes to the line, 1:27 is pole at the moment. Owen 1:21.1. It's 4 tenths off at the moment. P5. Not the best lap, but of course it's just the first runs of the session. It's a banker lap. It's got him on the board, so he's got a respectable lap time in the top 5 at least. Should something go wrong and he ends up in a barrier or something, which Monza can do. It can bite.
Yeah, it can indeed, especially with some of the curbs. Some of the curbs, of course, are lethal around here, and of course you have Ascari, which is always a challenge. But we saw a very close qualifying here yesterday in TGP1, and we'll see if we get something similar here in TGP2. I don't really think anybody's on a lap at the moment. Looks like everyone's just taking it easy, or being validated, or they're just making their way back to the pits. We've got Cena on an outlap after that spin. We've also got Jack Craig on an outlap as well. And M-Shep as well, directly behind. So the 3 cars all in a row here, who are all on outlaps and are all about to get started with a lap. Jack Craig and Cena. Cena is about to start a lap, is he? And is he going to start a lap directly behind Jack Craig? I think he is. So he will actually get a bit of a tow here. It's not going to be a massive one because he's not really that close to the car. The tow on this game is still effective. I can vouch for that because it happened to me yesterday when I got a tow from my teammate, and it quite clearly gave an advantage, although not a massive one. So it does work if you can arrange it, but of course you have to try and make it work by arranging it with your teammates, as seen almost going on the grass there through the curve of Grande.
Yeah, Jack Craig sits at 26.5 for Sector 1. Couldn't get to see Cena's time. I was hoping that it'd sit on the screen for a couple of seconds, but 26.5 is not a bad first sector. Unfortunately, I haven't got the time from John to have a look at as a comparison.
Well, John's was 26.7, so it's a very good first sector.
And there we go, so 2 temps up, so maybe Jack Craig has gone for the 0-0 strategy on the wings, which I think most people tend to do. Seem to be drifting into the wall that sticks out on the bridge crossover there, but he's not hit it, thankfully. He's apparently gone purple in sector 2 as well, so he's set a strong lap here. If Cena did get in a slipstream, he would have had himself a very good lap time potentially, but Jack Craig rounded the Parabolica then. It doesn't have that name officially anymore, but we know everyone's going to call it Parabolica still. As he comes to the line, loses 3 tenths maybe in the last set, but goes P4. Cena's P7, and M-Shep, who was behind both of them, takes P9. He's got an Alpha Tauri about to start a lap, but I believe it's Blair Grills, the second Alpha Tauri, who I did see coming out of the pits just before this. And look at this at the first chicane.
Well, look at this. We've got Dom starting a lap. Dom is starting a lap here, coming down the start-finish straight, and as you say, he's got so much cars ahead of him. Now, this is going to be a difficult lap for Dom. We might as well watch this because it's going to be a bit of an adventure. There might be a few additional chicanes you have to navigate here. The first one, oh my god, I mean, there's literally, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think there's 8 cars coming up in front of Dom, directly ahead of Dom.
And Dom's half a second up in sector 1.
He is. He's flying first sector, but this is going to be tricky now. Come on, move, Mercedes.
He's going for the Ferrari's not going to move. He's going to go for the. He's going to go for the tow.
Well, this might work, yeah. Down to Ascari. It might work for the rest of the lap if the other cars get out the way. Although he's catching up so quick to his teammate. Neljak needs to push, otherwise he might not get through Ascari.
He's not even going to get halfway down the straight.
Well,
and he's lost in time. He's slower.
He has lost time, yeah. I think he probably, in a dizzy air around the 2 Lesmos, good run through Ascari, and again, another car gets out of his way. And I think in the end, he's managed to avoid a huge, significant damage there, just maybe a little bit through the second Lesmo when he got super close to his teammate. But around the final corner, Dom Blair Grills goes the quickest on a 1:20.6. Is Dom about to smash that time? I think he is. It's a 1:20. No, it's not. 2,000 slower than Blair Grills. Fantastic stuff.
Now that, it will be good news for Owen that his teammate is ahead of his main total rival by all of 2 thousandths of a second. That's astonishing.
Well, it's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, it happened yesterday in GP1 as well. It's 1,000 behind.
Here comes John Menzies to the line.
I think John's just finishing a lap.
I think he started a lap.
Yeah, he is. He's starting a lap right now then. So, is anybody else on? Let's want to see if I think Owen is on a lap. Owen is further ahead and he's on a lap.
He's got the traffic.
No, he's not.
Now he's back
3 seconds down. Owen's 3 seconds down. So, we will watch John Menzies then. We might as well watch John Menzies this time around. Dom's first sector was incredibly quick, wasn't it? It was a 26.3. Blair Grills' first sector was a 26.5, so
26.7.
The downforce, 26.7. It's actually down, and that's a lot of curve through there. And I think he put a wheel on the gravel as well. Not a great run through the Del
and the rear tried to step out.
Yeah, this isn't shaping up to be a great lap by for John here.
And now there's a wrecked car in front, which is Marco again.
Schumacher, yeah.
So that's also not going to help. Let's see what his sector 2 split is. Yeah, he's backed it off. He was nearly a second down. There's Jacko now takes pole, and that's something we've not seen for a while. Jacko, you know, he last season very strong, got poles, got some wins. This season, none of that now. It's sort of reflected Mercedes in real life a bit, hasn't it? But an upturn in fortunes there for the Mercedes driver as we try and find someone on the lap.
We've got Speed Sully coming through here down the straight to the Parabolica, but what a front row that is at the minute. You wouldn't have put money on that, but we'll see if Speed Sully can get amongst it as well.
Oh, he's had a huge moment.
Dropping it there. He's done well to save that, and he's actually going to come into the pit lane, and it was very nearly session over for him there, wasn't it?
Indeed. Someone that is on the lap, but is slightly down in the first sector is Owen, down in P9 at the moment, which is going to be hugely disappointing for him, having just done a lot of good work in the previous race to chop down the lead that Dom had over him a bit. The football analogy I mentioned, which may not have picked up due to a slight hiccup. Technically 5 points, it's like the equivalent of being 5 points down in the Premier League, but with 2 games in hand, as he comes towards the Parabolica. It's not improved in either sector so far, so the pace isn't there for the AlphaTauri driver at the moment. He's going to round the Parabolica now. Can he just find something in the last sector to maybe jump up the field? Comes to the line now. And he does find a couple of attempts. He goes up to P5, and look at that between 5th and 9th. Not
John's
even a tenth.
John's on another lap here. John Menzies on another lap. He was only 3 thousandths down after the second sector. He was actually up in the first sector. He's had to back off the throttle a little bit there for the Parabolica though, and then nearly lost the car. That makes lost him a bit more time, and he decides to come into the pit lane as a result of that. So 5 minutes to go. There'll be a couple more runs left, I imagine, for all the drivers now. Maybe just the one run. But Dom is already out on track, so he has either got, well actually no, he's already got a rev fuel light there on his car, so he must be fueled as minimum as possible, which would suggest to me it's really just going to be one lap here for Dom, and that will be it. I don't know if he'll be able to get back in and back out in time. I'm not really sure he can at this stage after he sets this lap, so it's going to be all or nothing here.
Although I was about to say it could get very close, but I think he would just run out of time. So
yeah,
it's almost like it's there if he doesn't get the lap in, that he can abort the lap, get in the pits, get back out for one last run. Because
maybe Dom, of course, might have been a little bit spooked by the crazy amount of traffic he encountered before, and wants a bit more of a free run this time. And it does look as though he's probably going to get that. There's a Mercedes, and I think a Haas a little bit ahead.
Oh, the Mercedes just spun.
The car's just spun. And Dom gets through the first chicane very nicely indeed. That was a good run through there for Dom. And now he can fly through the Curva Grande, and he knows he's coming up to the second sector now, and he's not going to have any cars around him to trouble him whatsoever.
And he's up in Sector 1 again. He had a very quick Sector 1 on his previous lap, but he lost it in the middle sector. But he does have 2 cars off the front. I think they've both gone off.
The car was getting away from him there. Bit of understeer in that first Lesmo. Second Lesmo, a lot of curve, and he's backed out of it. He has backed out of it, and that looked like such a good first sector as well. Looks like an absolutely brilliant first sector that by Dom. But as he came through into that first Lesmo, it all fell away from him a little bit. But as we say, he's backed off early enough that he should be able to get enough energy back in the car with the ERS as well, and he can go again. We've still got John Mendy. John Mendy's just coming off the pit lane now. Owen's still in the pit lane. Blair Grills and Jacko are both directly behind Dom here, so he might have 3 in a row as they all cross the line here, the top 3. And Dom is about to start his lap. Is that Alpha going to pit?
They're both pitting.
Well, Dom's also going to pit, so Dom is going to be last car possibly across the line.
It's interesting. I made a FIFA analogy not too long ago, or a football analogy about the championship, and our TGP FIFA champion Sean McGurk, Bulletproof, has appeared in chat cheering on Dom. So it's been a long time since Sean has been around in TGP. Of course, FIFA champion, a dominant FIFA champion as well. I think it's the first season, but he's watching on, cheering on Dom. So we've got one cheering on Owen in the championship and one cheering Dom on. Well, they just spotted.
Sully again round the Parabolica, gets a massive swap it on, and he goes 4. So that's a good lap by Speed Sully, but he lost time definitely at the end of the lap around the Parabolica, so that must be really frustrating for him. We've got Neljak looking quite good now as well. He's in 7th place. It's so close. And Jacko's crashed.
Yeah.
It's the second Lesmo. So that's it for Jacko, and he was going for another lap. I was about to say he's the next driver after Neljak, and he won't be anymore because he is out of the session. So it'll be Neljak coming across the line, and then it'll be Blair Grills in second place, though he's 8 tenths down, so I don't think he's going to improve. Neljak is a 10.5 down now at this stage, so he might not improve either.
John just starting a lap. Blair Grills was improving, but has backed the lap up after Jacko's crash. They were together on track. Jacko just ahead of Blair Grills. They were both just behind Shep at the time, but John Menzies on the lap. We've got another yellow.
Speed Sully has spun at the second Lesmo, and John Menzies is also on a lap then, so Speed Sully might have to go again. I'm not sure if he's got the time, as we're really getting through the last few moments now of this session, and Dom is back out on his out lap. This is going to be the last chance for everyone. Oh, John took too much grass there on the entry of the first Lesmo, and that will have definitely lost them time.
Let's see as he gets to the second sector line, then he has the DRS wide open. If he try to just fight every single tenth he can, but it's been a bit messy, but he is a tenth up, but he's got some traffic in front of him. Maybe it'll help him down this back straight. This car is trying to step away and he's invalidated.
Is he going to go again? He's immediately slammed on the brakes there and his fuel light's not flashing, so I think he might be able to go again.
He's got enough fuel. Cena goes P4.
Cena goes fourth. Dom is coming across the line. Well, he's coming across the second sector line.
Owen's
very
beginning a lap.
So this is good. This is going to be a fantastic finish to this session. As you go then, Owen, we might as well watch him. I think he's the first guy, isn't he? He's going to be the first guy. Speed Sully pits. So Speed Sully, after that spin, that's it for him. Owen's first sector, 26.2. That's very, very good.
There's a Ferrari that really needs to get a move on, because I can see it on the map. He's coming towards the Parabolica slowly, but he's only got about 10 seconds left. He's going to be touch and go. It could be Dom. It's Neljak.
No, it's Neljak. It's Neljak right behind Blair Grills.
So that's good news then. Everyone did make it to the line, just a couple seconds to spare. We're here with Owen then, as he comes towards the end of the second sector. And he's 6 and a third tenths up. This could be pole if he holds it to the line.
Oh, bit of a wobble. Oh, but he just managed to save it.
This is going to be very, very close. Can Owen pull the impossible off here in the last sector and just steal the pole away? Currently P7, not a good position to start in. Right in the midfield in that turn 1 bunch up that we get here. But he comes to the line. It's second. Less than half a tenth. Maybe the little wiggle on Ascari cost him. We're going to try and find Dom, who's next.
Well, John's going to be next. John Menzies is next. And, again, he takes too much curb on the exit of Ascari. And he loads of time. Cena spun at the end of the lap. Dom gets through Ascari pretty nicely. I didn't catch what his second sector time was. But John, he's down. And I think I'd be surprised if he improves by a significant amount here. He's down in 7th right now. But he needs to improve slightly, and he'll be moved a couple of positions. He's going to stay 7th.
Yeah, there's no improvement there at all, unfortunately, for
Dom's
him.
Not going to improve either, is he?
He's invalidated. It was 11 thousandths quicker. That would have gone in P3. It would have come in P3, that lap.
He took too much of the line, didn't he, on the inside line, the cheat line at the end of the lap. He took too much of it, and he invalidated. Unbelievable. So that's it. That is qualifying. A bit of an anticlimactic end, actually, in the end. Despite the fact that it was getting hyped up to look like a close one, really everybody sort of flopped at the end of the session, aside from Owen, who, crucially for him, puts himself on the front row. Jacko crashed like 5 minutes ago and still is on pole. So Owen in second on the front row, Dom in 4th on the second row, John in 7th on the 4th row. What a terrible night he's having.
Yeah, this could be the night that his hopes for the championship ebb away. It could quickly become a 2-horse race. Owen P2 though, ahead of Dom, so another opportunity for Owen to claw some points back before 2-3 hits he gets next week.
Well, this is set then very, 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 very nicely, isn't it? There's the lineup for this race. Jacko on pole then, and remember, it's a long, long run down to the first corner, and Jacko does not seem to have the best of starts, don't forget. So that might be a little bit problematic for him. Owen in second, Blair Girls third, Dom just behind in 4th, and we've got Cena in 5th. It's so close, really. Cena in 5th, Speed Sully 6th, John 7th. All he needed was a slight improvement, and he could have at least got to 5th. Wet Lemons in 8th, great 8th place in, Neljak in 9th, Jack Craig down in 10th, Chef 11th, Bruce Keiko, Baz at 13th, Kaya, Schumacher, Engineer Steph, Replicate, Incisive, and Mr. John at the back. Well, we saw what happened yesterday, at turn 1 at Monza. We've got some of the drivers saying just now that they're a bit nervous about this. This is going to be interesting. I mean, we know Dom is so good at start, so he can get himself up there straight away.
It's very overcast as well, again.
It is. We haven't heard any reports of rain though, so I assume it's going to be a dry race. But yeah, I mean, what tyres are they going to start on as well? We saw a fantastic race around here yesterday in GTP1. What are your final predictions, John? Are we all going to get through turn 1 safely?
I hope so, but it's Monza. There's always something that happens at Monza. And, you know, it's so close. 3rd to 7th separated by 10th in quali. 8th to 13th separated by 10th as well. It's going to be very close as we get underway here.
Here we go then. Lights come on. After a long pause, we're underway at Monza, and it is a good start for Dom, as you would imagine. And can he immediately get up to the front? Look at him, he's like Alonso. He's going to go from 4th to 1st at the start. Fantastic. That's if he's late on the brakes into turn 1. Blake Hills is going to try and hang around there, but Dom gets into the lead. What a start from Dom. That was absolutely brilliant. And Jacko's gone off, I think, slightly, and has lost a few positions. He's gone down to 4th. Cena might pass him. He's down to 5th. Dom has a 1 second lead in the Ferrari.
Yeah, perfect start. Just unbelievable getaway from the line. Got it down the inside and just got it through. There's an AlphaTauri off, and
Blake
that's
Hills has
Blake
gone
Hills.
off. I wonder if Blake Hills was letting Owen through there. I think Owen might have let Owen through.
John Menzies went off as well. He's down to 8th. Jack Craig was off. He's down to 9th. It's all kind of kicking off here. No, everyone actually threw cleanly. Jacko, I think, went off just to avoid any contact with other cars, and I immediately jinxed it because Enshep is in the barrier between Lesmo 1 and 2. Dom, though, in the lead, but look who's behind him. It's the AlphaTauri of Owen.
Yeah, Owen managed to somehow get through it, and he lost a couple of positions into the first chicane, but he managed to get them back. And I do wonder if Blake Hills did just get out the way there. But if he did, he didn't really wait, because he lost more positions as well. And I should say, John gets ahead of Neljak then. So John in 7th place, ends of the first lap, and Dom leads by 8/10 of a second. But I think it's really close between John, Neljak. It's going to get really close here. There's going to be a lot of ERS, I imagine, getting used right about now. It won't be DRS just yet. Will Neljak decide to try and come back at John here? Oh, a bit wide. Is the Alpine over the curb? Speed Sully. That's going to slow John down. Oh, and he loses another position. Everything is going wrong for John Menzies tonight.
And Neljak, who just gains from John, looks to gain from Sully as he gets the run towards the second chicane through the Curva Grande, but the Alpine just has more top end there and makes the position to remain P6. Meanwhile, we've got Jacko, who's got past Blake Hills to 4th. Having a look at the back, and it's a media
Mercedes! Jacko's off. Jacko's lost it at the first Lesmo, crashed second one in quali, and now he's lost it in the first one, but he's not out the race. But he is certainly out of contention now, you would say, for any sort of significantly decent result. Owen is 3/10 now behind Dom. He's closed in. He's getting so much understeer, Owen. That's the second time he's done that now through Ascari, the entry to Ascari. Cannot get the car turned in there and loses a chunk of time every time.
Could it be one of the disadvantages of having 0-0 wings? I know a lot of drivers are talking about it.
Menzies sending it on Neljak again at the Parabolica here. So these guys have been battling. Oh, they nearly touched. They nearly hit each other on the exit of the corner. And as we start lap 3, Neljak is going to be on Speed Sully, and with these guys are going to be side by side to get into the first corner. We saw a bit of a contact here on the previous lap, and is John just watching them? Is he going to send it, try and get them both? No. Probably sensible, and they're going to be side by side through here. They briefly touch, and can John actually take advantage this time? He gets past one of them.
Can he get the run on the other, though? It remains to be seen. It doesn't look likely here. I think Neljak just a well enough exit from the first chicane to stay ahead and keep P5. So the top 3 sort of breaking away a bit as I immediately cut away.
He's too much curve, John, and he's lost the position to Speed Sully. He's all over the place in this race, and now he's down into 7th. Bunce again falls back behind Speed Sully, although he will have DRS here and he might have a bit of a run.
Let's see. Sully doesn't have DRS from Neljak. Neljak just a bit too far ahead, but look, again, John just not quite close enough into the Ascari chicane, and it's
Here
just...
comes at the front. Look at the front. Here we go. Owen and Tom. Sorry, John. Owen is now right behind Dom here. And he actually got through Ascari well that time. And he's with the DRS. Surely this is a done deal, you would say, with the addition of DRS as well, which we now have. It's enabled. He uses it. He uses DRS as well. Owen is going to take the lead. Dom has given up pretty much. He's not even using DRS here, and he will try and slot in behind and come back at him later in the race. So Owen takes the lead of this race then. Dom had a fantastic start, but he is now down in second. And meanwhile, further back, is it all going to be nice and clean this time for the change between Neljak Speed Sully and John Menzies? Yes, it is, as Shep retires from the race in the pit lane.
No, he's not. It's Ascari.
Ascari, yeah, it is.
It's Ascari exit. It's so easy to get it wrong on the exit of Ascari. I've seen it quite a few times over the years. Is Sully very nervy over the
penalty for John.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Sully very nervous over the second chicane curb, and I think Menzies followed him in and just cut it a bit. We've got a yellow flag. It's just behind. It's the second Mercedes of Baza. He's spun it round at the same place as his teammate a few laps ago, as Mr. John gets by P9.
What a disaster for Mercedes. Oh!
There's a disaster.
Cena spun it, and he's going to fall down the order. He's had a great race, but Cena now, sadly, after that great start, is tumbling quicker than the pound. Down the order, he's down into 7th place. Dom is 4/10 now behind Owen, and he's going to have a run here, I think, coming back at him now. It's also, we haven't really mentioned tyres yet, but the top 8 are all on softs.
There we are, we're just getting up on the screen for you, Bazza, and Mr. John, the main guy, is highest up the order on the mediums as he goes for the move.
Oh, they touch the top 2 in the championship, but Owen gets through and manages to stay ahead. Hopefully no damage there. I think they will probably be okay, but that was very late by Dom to send that one. John in the pit lane, he's got a penalty as well. What a terrible, terrible night this is for him. Bazza and Mr. John are going side by side at the end, and Mercedes in the Red Bull. Oh, and Bazza goes off the track. And Mr. John goes through. That was a bit of a strange one, that. But at the front, it's 8/10 to the gap now. Don tried it on that last lap. It didn't quite work. Will he try an undercut, maybe?
Yeah, we'll see what happens, because, of course, Don was caught out in the last race by an undercut when they were in opposite position. Swall was Owen ahead, actually. I think Owen was ahead at the time, so if Don wants to make the undercut, he's probably going to have to do it this lap. Most people tend to pit laps 6 for the softs, tend to do 6.
Oh, he's off! Owen's off! Owen is off! Owen is off, but he's not out, incredibly. I don't know how he's not out, but he is off, and he is just terrible for this championship from the lead of the race. Didn't he do this earlier in the season as well? I think he'd done this was it's in Saudi Arabia, I want to say. And Owen is now down into 5th. What a disaster. Fantastic for Dom. Dom's laughing. The Ferrari Tifosi are dancing.
And if Owen's got damage, he can't even go in the pit because his teammate's just gone in there.
He's carrying on, Owen, and he's still got a front wing. I have to say, from my angle that I've seen that, it looked like he was 100% going to destroy his car there. I can't believe he's actually managed to survive that. Jacko is right behind him now, but that is incredible. He did not crash out of the race there.
Yeah, that's incredible. He went straight into the wall. I've seen so many times cars go off there and do the exact same thing, and it rips a front suspension off, a wing off. I mean, it doesn't look like it's done either. We've got another Alfa Romeo off, and that is what Lemon's done for the day. Of course, one race a night with safety car. This is not that race, so there's not a risk of safety car or VSC here, as there was in Zandvoort. We've got the light's going green because it's where Lemon's actually retired. But yeah, massive moment in the championship. Owen, though, despite that, still P3. Still has a chance of some solid points.
Yeah, he is P3, but of course cars have pitted ahead of him, and I think the likes of Blair Grills and all that, and Neljak as well have just pitted, and they did pass him before he, or did pass him after that spin. Dom is 8 seconds out in front though, not obviously with counting the people who have pitted. He has a commanding lead in this race, and is it going to be 2 Ferraris winning in TP1 and 2 around Monza? Jacko has now got a run on Owen. Owen decides to pit, and Jacko will continue then. So Speed Sully in, Owen in. I wonder where John Menzies is going to come out in all of this. Of course, he's had penalties.
I was just looking at that, just having a look, comparing to the lead thing. I think Owen's going to come out right with... Oh, we got a Hasselhoff. That is Red Bull Kim. That's going to... Okay, John's gone through now at least, but I was looking at the thing. I think it's going to be close with John. Here we are then. That's John going down the pit straight now at the back of a huge train of cars. And look at that. He's ahead.
Is he? He is ahead. He is ahead. And of course, he'll have to get the tyres and temperature as well. So suddenly for John, maybe not necessarily in saying as the championship leader, obviously, because he's way out in front, but it's coming a bit back for him. He's ahead of Owen now that spins, of course, happened to Owen a few laps ago. And ahead of him, he's still going to have a few cars to overtake. In fact, we've got Neljak and Indecisive going side by side here. And Indecisive Bazet has also yet to pit, so he will jump them. He will also jump Kaya and Mr. John as well. So he knows he's definitely going to be jumping them.
Yeah, Owen is at the back of a big train, but importantly...
Oh, someone's spun there.
That's Bazet. That's one less for John and Owen to worry about. But I was going to say, importantly for Owen, there's a big train of cars, and right near the front of it is his teammate Blair Grills, who has pitted. He can back up the cars, get Owen up there, get him ahead, play the team game, get Owen as many points as possible as Dom pits from the lead, doesn't hit a speeding penalty, which is good news for him. It's parted like the Red Sea for the Carter in red here at Monza, as Dom looks well on the way to securing another race victory here, as he comes up the pits in third behind Mr. John, who's yet to pit, Jacko yet to pit. It's looking very good for the Tifosi. They're going to absolutely lose it when that Ferrari crosses the line.
Comes John Menzies then on Jack Craig, and we've also got Owen trying to pass Speed Sully. Maybe a bit difficult this for Owen, but is he going to get it done? He is going to get it done on the exit. So we've got Owen in 9th, John in 7th then, and it is just Kaya, Mr. John and Jacko yet to stop. I think they will jump Kaya and they will jump Mr. John. Not sure about Jacko though, we'll wait and see.
Owen currently 8 seconds behind Dom, but the amount of cars between them, 5 cars between, and I believe 4 of them have pitted. The only car that's yet to pin out of this lot is Kaya in P5. So Blair Grills, Neljak and John and Jack Craig. If Owen wants to get anything out of this, he's got to pass him on the track. Meanwhile, Neljak making a move on the track, passing Kaya, who then immediately gets a penalty. Jacko pits from the lead. He could come out in this train as well, so we'll see where he comes out compared to our championship protagonists.
There we go then, this is going to be fantastic stuff this, as you say, they're all going to be in this train here, as John is bearing down now on Kaya. Kaya's still yet to pit, so John will get this position. Here's Jacko, he's coming out, and he's going to be right at the back of these guys. So Owen does get ahead, and John does get ahead, but Jacko will bring those sides up to temperature. It'll be close here between... Now, Jacko is behind Speed Sully then. So Kaya is now in 6th place, John is in 5th, and he can try and settle now on catching Neljak, who was battling with in the very, very early stages of this race. Owen is closing in on Jack Craig, and Jack Craig is going to get slightly held up possibly by Kaya, unless he can get the move done immediately, and Owen's going to try and get the move done. And he's just avoided the barrier, Owen. I mean, I can totally understand why he wants to get past Kaya. I can totally understand that, but you know, maybe that was a bit too much of a send, and it was never really going to work. And Don, meanwhile, passes John, although it's fairly insignificant because obviously John's still yet to pit. But I think Jacko could see Jack Craig possibly beginning to disappear there if he didn't get that position, that move made, Owen, sorry. And he tried to send it on Kaya, and it didn't work. And now Owen is behind Jacko again.
Something of interest though, Blair Grills is closing on Dom. The gap's down to 2 seconds, so could Blair Grills do a massive favour for his teammate and somehow win this Grand Prix?
Jack Craig's off at the Parabolica, so the guy that Owen wanted to desperately try and stay within touching distance of by sending it on Kaya, well, Jack Craig's gone off now, so there's the position for you, Owen, but he's now going to have to try and recover again and get back past Jacko and Speed Sully in this race. Jacko closing in here on Speed Sully, and who knows, maybe they'll have contact and spin off as well. But Mr. John still yet to pit. Blair Grills 7/10 behind Mr. John. So yeah, as you say, it's still about 2 seconds into the gap at the front as Mick Schumacher is out now of this race. And the closest battle on track, which actually matters, is for this 6th place Speed Sully, Jacko and Owen.
Yeah, Owen had 2 disasters here in this race, but luckily no damage from either. He's still fighting at least. He's still got some chance of getting some points here. He's currently a net P7. He can get ahead of these two, be a net P5, and chasing down Menzies, who has a penalty as Jack Craig retires in between the two Lesmo corners, similar to Hamilton in 2009 now in the penultimate lap. But Owen, he's quicker than the cars in front, but the car's just getting a bit twitchy as he's just trying to desperately close in, get the positions, and just try and limit the damage that Dom's going to do here, as Dom is pulling away in the lead. Mr. John comes into the pits. Blake Wills does get some DRS from him, but the gap between first and second is up from 2 seconds to 2.5. It's going down due to the DRS.
Here we go.
As we got Jacko and Sully then. Jacko easily through with the DRS.
Yeah, so nice move then there for Jacko, and he's now into 5th place, and everybody has now pitted in this race, and Owen is gonna have to try and get past Speed, Sully and Jacko to have a fair, to just reduce that points gap and make it a little bit closer going into next week, where of course Dom won't be here, and Owen and John simply have to win those races next week. Owen closing on Speed, Sully. Owen has got 2 laps to make up these positions, and John, meanwhile, he's of course himself trying to make up a few extra positions, by trying to get a few extra points, I should say, by trying to get Neljak to get onto the podium. Of course, he does have a penalty as well, so he would have to try and get this move done on Neljak, and then go and pull 3 seconds as well, as he nearly lost the car there through Ascari, and has dropped back a little bit from Neljak. Owen still right on Speed Sully, and then he might be able to try and challenge Jacko, but I think Owen may well get Speed Sully here, although Speed Sully is just staying within DRS of Jacko, which will help him.
Yeah, ever slightly about that 300 he stayed in, but I think Owen's got the pace advantage. Sully has struggled on this stint since he's come out on the mediums. Owen should have a good run here. He's got the DRS set to overtake. He's got the DRS wide open. Cena's gone off behind down in P8. He's not out of race, but he's going to struggle to get back going. It looks like Owen goes for the move. Sully runs wide, trying to hold the position. There's contact between the two. They've locked together.
They're going to each other.
Sully gives the
room.
room.
Jacko to pull away.
Oh no!
Wow, the Stiltogen! Oh wow, that was incredible. Is Owen like indestructible in this race or something? It's incredible. He's just not losing any parts of his car. So fair play to the AlphaTauri mechanics, who obviously used some Italian super special glue or something, because it's staying on the car, the bodywork, and he makes up the position on Speed Sully in a very strange way. But Jacko is now 2.6 seconds clear because of that, so I can't really see how he's going to get within Jacko at this rate. And actually Jacko is only 2.5 seconds now behind John. John's actually fell back from Neljak quite a bit here, and Jacko might end up finishing 4th.
Yes, Owen needs to somehow find 2.5 seconds in a lap to get within the 3-second window to John in 4th to get that position due to John's penalty. But we are on the final lap now. It's an Italian 1, 2, 3. Ferrari, AlphaTauri, Ferrari. And it's not the AlphaTauri you expect. It's definitely the Ferrari you expect. Like Dom Smith is less than a lap away from victory here in Monza. You'll have to defose all over the track at a few moments' time. Meanwhile, John trying to close in on Neljak, just not quite within the second. Jacko's closing in slowly but surely. He's in that 3-second window to take P4. Owen looks set for a P6 and 9 points to Dom's 25. We'll have a quick look on the fastest lap, and that is Lewis Craig down at the back of the field, so we're not going to have fastest lap point added into it. But it's a 16-point swing as it stands, and that will make it 58 points between Dom and Owen. Of course, Dom away next week, a chance for 52 points for Owen to bring it down to 6 if he nails next week. The championship's not over, but Dom has done the perfect bounce back from Zandvoort being beaten as we come towards the final corner.
A spun at the very end. He was closing in on Neljak and he's lost it at Ascari. And at the front, there's going to be even more cheers now. They've seen John crash, the championship rival, and Dom now in the Ferrari is going to take victory at Monza to send us a Tifosi Casey. And he's going to miss next week, but he's going to come back in the final week with a guaranteed championship lead, where Blair Grills finishes in 2nd, Neljak 3rd, Jacko 4th, and Owen will be 5th, then John is going to be 6th, and I tell you what, Speed Sully will actually get a money. John is going to be 7th. with that crash at the exit of Ascari on the final lap. And it has been a terrible night for John Menzies. It really has been awful for him. Owen will come home in 5th, despite having the early lead, and it was Ascari that has cost both of the two contenders to Dom in this race the exact same place. They both dropped it. Dom did not drop it. Dom won it, and he is going to have a commander lead in his championship now.
And another person that's dropped it is Bazza at the last corner. At Parabolica, he's just getting back on the road. It will keep P11, because even if Mackie gets him, let's see if he does get him up the line. He does. He does have a penalty, 5 seconds. So Bazza takes that back immediately. But Red Bull Kim just steals P12 with Mackie, and Angel Steph just misses out. Red Bull Kim, 12th place, beats his teammate. Lewis Craig will get the fastest lap, but he will not get the fastest lap point. He's 15th, points to 14. So there's no fastest lap point for this Grand Prix. That could be crucial though.
So it's going to be a 57-point gap then for next week between Dom and 57-point gap between Dom and Owen, and for John it will be a 64-point gap. No, it won't be 64.
He was 20 points off Owen before the race.
He was 62 points behind, so it's going to be something like,
I believe it's probably about high 70, like 80. I think 80. Yeah. I'd say, top of my head, I'll say 81 or 82. I don't know the exact maths, but I think it's around there.
Yeah, it's going to be significant. It's going to be significant for John. So he basically will have to win the last 4 races, pretty much only. But
he'd have to win them all, yeah.
Owen has to win both next week. He has to win Japan and United States next week, because Dom has won this one, and moves him on to 39 wins now, isn't it? In TGP2 history. And here he is, the winner of the race. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say Suzuka next week, of course, as well as United States, second Americas, of course. Suzuka tends to be a very strong track for Owen. He's won here, there in TGP2 in the past, so if there's one race I think he'd be happy to not have Dom there for, it's going to be that one. We'll give you a rundown of the results. Dom Smith wins again for Ferrari. Natalia 1-2-3, AlphaTauri second, Blair Grills, Neljak rounds off the podium ahead of Jacko, Q4. A good showing for him, shame about the spin. Owen in 5th, Sully 6th, John Menzies 7th ahead of Mr. John, Cena, Kaya, Bazza, Red Bull Kim, Mackie and Angel Steph round off the point. And retirements for Lewis Craig in 15th as well. Retirements for Jack Craig, Mick Schumacher, White Lemons and M. Shep. So the championship has taken some major twists and turns tonight, but it's not quite out of Owen's hands just yet. He can still lay a claim to the throne of TGP2, but he's got to have the perfect week next week with Dom Smith away, as the dream seems to have ebbed away for John Menzies, and to Speed Study as well, who had an outside chance, but the results tonight not quite strong enough as he's dropped away. So it's looking like a 2-horse race between 2 of the TGP2 greats, I think you can say. Owen and Dom, TGP2 champions, long career, long time in TGP, pair of them. I know, God, when I debuted, 9 years ago, the two I battled with mainly for the TGP2 crown were Dom and Owen, and here they both are again, still at the top of their games. It's going to be a riveting last 2 weeks. It's going to be a strange last 2 weeks, considering our championship leader isn't there for one of them. Although, fortunately for him, it's not the last week, because that would really make it tense enough as it is. But it's still all to play for. Dom, you would say, is the favourite, but Owen still in with a shout. What's your takeaways from tonight's races, Dan?
Well, 2 great races, but once again, Dom keeping up his incredible consistency this season, and as you say, he will be watching next week, hoping that Owen struggles, but Owen just has to get those 2 races next week, and we'll see if he can do it in Japan and the United States.
Yes, indeed. That brings the end of TGP2 tonight then. It's a good night from me. I'll be looking forward to watching next week's races. I won't be in the commentary box. I believe you might be there?
Yeah, I am next week, I think, with Roy.
Yep, so it'll be Dan and Roy to take over next week for the penultimate week of TGP2. It's a goodbye from me. And a good night from Dan as well. And we will both see you again for TGP2. Good night.